Goa's Uniform Civil Code reviewed. The Parliamentary Committee claims that some provisions of Goa's UCC are against equality. Political funding once again in the headlines. It exceeds 10,000 crore rupees. SBI report released these figures. 5G spectrum auction process completed. 1.5 lakh crore rupees in government's exchequer. 5G to be launched in India by October 2022. Minjar Fair recognized as international fair. It is held in Chaugan, Himachal Pradesh. It commences from the second Sunday of Sawan. And lumpy skin disease is spreading rapidly in animals. The number of infected animals crosses 25,000. The districts of Western Rajasthan are the most affected. Recently, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Law and Personnel has reviewed the UCC, that is, Uniform Civil Code of Goa. Some committee members are of the view that the Uniform Civil Code of Goa contains some peculiar and outdated provisions related to matrimony. These are very outdated and not based on the principle of equality. Significantly, this review has been done at a time when the implementation of a uniform civil code across India is in discussion. In this context, the Ministry of Law and Justice informed the Parliamentary Committee that personal laws can be reviewed only when a majority of the population demands changes in the same. Significantly, the Portuguese Civil Code of 1867 is in force in Goa. It is the only state in India to have a uniform civil code. However, different personal laws apply to different religious communities in other parts of India. These are commonly known as personal laws. For example, the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 applies to Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs, and the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936 applies to the Parsis. The Indian Christian Marriage Act 1872 applies to Christians, and the Muslim Personal Law, that is, the Shariat Act 1937, applies to Muslims in personal matters. Article 44 of the Constitution of India states that the state shall endeavour to provide its citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. It is noteworthy that the subjects covered in personal law like marriage, divorce, will, joint family and partition are related to the concurrent list of the Constitution. Therefore, the states also have the right to make laws on these subjects. Recently, the Supreme Court has issued notice on petitions challenging the ordinance to extend the tenure of the Director of Enforcement Directorate. The Apex Court has sought a response from the central government and the Central Vigilance Commission in this matter. These petitions also challenge the amended law under which ED directors' tenure was extended. The central government had issued an ordinance to amend the CVC, that is, Central Vigilance Commission Act, in November 2021. However, this ordinance was converted into an act in December 2021. This ordinance included a provision related to the extension of the tenure of the directors of ED and CBI. According to the amended act, the tenure of directors of ED and CBI can be extended for 1 year at a time till the completion of 5 years from the initial date of appointment. The central government had extended the tenure of ED Chief Sanjay Mishra till November 2022 using the same ordinance. According to the CVC Act of 2003, the director of the ED is appointed on the basis of the recommendations of a committee. The Central Vigilance Commissioner is the chairman of this committee. Secretaries of the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, as well as the Department of Revenue are also members of this committee. According to the CVC Act, the tenure of the director of ED is minimum of 2 years, although the Act does not mention the maximum limit of ED directors' tenure. According to the Lokpal Act of 2014, the director of CBI should be appointed by a committee. The Prime Minister of India is the chairman of this committee. Furthermore, the leader of the opposition and the Chief Justice of India are other members of the committee. It is noteworthy that the appointment of the director of CBI was done under the CVC Act before 2014. Recently, SBI, that is State Bank of India, has shared a data report regarding electoral bonds. This report mentions that the amount donated to political parties through electoral bonds has exceeded 10,000 crore rupees since 2018. An electoral bond is like a promissory note. Its value is written on it like that of a currency note. It can be used by individuals, institutions, or organizations to make donations to political parties. Electoral bonds are available in denominations of rupees 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, and rupees 1 crore. Electoral bonds are available for purchase for 10 days at the beginning of each quarter. Electoral bonds can be purchased from select branches of the State Bank of India. The Government of India had notified the electoral bond scheme in January 2018. It aims at bringing transparency in the election donations received by the political parties of India. As per the provisions of the electoral bond scheme, only those political parties can obtain electoral bonds which are registered under Section 29A of the Representation of the People Act 1951 and which have secured at least 1% of the total votes polled in the last general elections. The central government has exempted political parties from disclosing the amount received through electoral bonds through an amendment in the Finance Act of 2017. It implies that the voters will not be able to know which person, company, or organization has donated to which party and how much in the form of electoral bonds. Recently, the Rajya Sabha passed the Weapons of Mass Destruction and Their Delivery System Amendment Bill 2022. Earlier, it was passed by the Lok Sabha in April 2022 during the budget session of the Parliament. The bill aims to amend the Weapons of Mass Destruction and the Delivery System Prohibition of Unlawful Activities Act of 2005. The bill seeks to control the proliferation of WMDs, that is, weapons of mass destruction, enshrined in international agreements. Significantly, the existing law covers only the trade in weapons of mass destruction. It doesn't cover the activities related to their financing. However, the recently passed amended bill also seeks to ban the financing of activities related to weapons of mass destruction. It also empowers the central government to freeze, confiscate, etc. the monetary and financial assets or economic resources of the accused persons to prevent the financing of such weapons. It states that no person shall finance any activity of weapons of mass destruction prohibited under this Act or the United Nations Security Council Act of 1947 or any other relevant acts. Weapons of mass destruction are weapons that are extremely dangerous and which have the potential to wipe out a large part of the Earth's population. The bill defines WMD as a broad term for biological, nuclear, and chemical weapons, and other major weapons incorporating biological, nuclear, and chemical weapons. According to this bill, nuclear weapons or devices are those weapons or devices which are classified as weapons of nuclear capability recognized by the Government of India. The 13th session of the IGC, that is, Intergovernmental Commission between India and Uzbekistan, was held in New Delhi. High officials, including ministers of both the countries, participated in this meeting. 7 areas of mutual cooperation, such as digital payments, space, agriculture and dairy, pharmaceuticals, inter-regional cooperation, MSME, gems and jewelry were outlined in the meeting. Issues like investment in technology and startups were also discussed during this meeting. Moreover, the two countries also talked about adopting an integrated approach to regional connectivity and cooperation. India had decided to provide market access for grapes, plums, and sweet cherries from Uzbekistan, while India will export mangoes, banana, and soybean oil cakes to Uzbekistan. Significantly, both the countries are celebrating the 30th anniversary of their diplomatic relations in 2022. Bilateral relations between the two countries steadily increased despite the COVID pandemic. It increased by 38.5% from $247 million in 2019-20 to $342 million in 21-22. According to Trading Economics, India exported the largest number of pharmaceutical products to Uzbekistan in 2021. However, India imported gum, resin, medical equipment, zinc, silk, and cotton from Uzbekistan. IGC is a platform for discussing various issues related to trade and investment and strengthening bilateral relations. Recently, the process of India's first 5G spectrum auction has been completed. According to the Minister of Communications, the spectrum allocation will be completed by 10th August 2022, while the 5G service is likely to start from October 2022. In this auction, the government has sold spectrum worth about 1.5 lakh crore rupees. Out of this amount, the central government is likely to get about 14,000 crore rupees as revenue. The central government has put on the block about 72 GHz radio waves worth about 4.3 lakh crore rupees this year. This included auction for spectrum in the low, medium and high frequency bands. The bands from 600 MHz to 2500 MHz are kept under the low frequency band spectrum. 3300 MHz band is kept under the medium frequency band spectrum, and 26 GHz band is kept under the high frequency band spectrum. In telecom, spectrum means waves of different frequency and their energy. A low frequency wave has more energy, whereas a high frequency wave has less energy. Networks are established by using this energy of waves. According to reports, mainly 3 telecom companies, that is Reliance Jio, Airtel and Vodafone, have participated in the bids. However, Adani Group has participated in the auction for corporate use. Reliance Jio topped the auction with a bid of about 88,000 crore rupees. It was successful in purchasing 20,740 MHz spectrum. Airtel purchased 19,867 MHz spectrum by bidding around 33,000 crore rupees. Vodafone stood third by purchasing 6,228 MHz spectrum for about 19,000 crore rupees. 5G stands for fifth generation. High-frequency electromagnetic waves are used in 5G. The speed of 5G network is 1 Gbps, that is gigabyte per second, or more, while the data latency is less than 1 millisecond. Data latency is the time taken to search information on the internet. 5G connection is quite stable, whose download and upload speed is much faster than 4G. 5G technology was started in 2019. Recently, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi inaugurated India's first IIBX, that is, Indian International Bullion Exchange. This bullion exchange has been established in the gift city, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. During the inaugural ceremony, the Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of the headquarters building of IFSCA, that is, International Financial Services Centres Authority. Experts opine that the establishment of IIBX will bring transparency to the market for the precious metal and its trade. The biggest beneficiary of IIBX will be small bullion dealers and jewelers. It will also lead to standard gold pricing in the country. India is the world's largest or leading importer of gold, as well as the second largest consumer country of gold. India had imported about 1,000 tons of gold in 2021 and 430 tons of gold in 2020. Gold, which is called yellow metal, is strictly regulated and controlled in India. At present, only designated banks and agencies approved by the Reserve Bank of India are authorized to import gold. Gold is sold to dealers and jewelers across India through these agencies. Actually, bullion refers to physical gold and silver of high purity. These metals are often stored in the form of ingots, coins, or bars. Furthermore, gold also has the status of the legal tender of RBI. Bullion exchange in a market or platform through which buyers and sellers trade gold and silver as well as its related derivatives. Significantly, the Finance Minister has announced the establishment of IIBX in the Budget 2020. The bullion exchange not only enrolls jewelers to trade on the exchange, but also provides the necessary infrastructure for storing physical gold and silver. Recently, Minjar Fair got international status. The announcement was made by the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh during the closing ceremony of the fair. Minjar Fair is celebrated at Chaugan Maidan in Chamba Valley of Himachal Pradesh. Significantly, Minjar Fair was also mentioned by the Prime Minister in the recent episode of Monkeypox program. Minjar Mela was organized to commemorate the victory of the Raja of Chamba over the ruler of Trigarta, that is present-day Kangra, in 1935 AD. It is said that on the return of their victorious king, the residents of Chamba greeted him with sheaf of paddy and maize as a symbol of prosperity and happiness. Since then, this fair is celebrated every year by the residents of Chamba. This fair starts on the second Sunday of Sawan and continues throughout the week. The fair is announced by the distribution of Minjar, which is a silk tassel worn by men and women alike on parts of their dress. This tassel symbolizes the shoots of paddy and maize, which make their appearance around this time of the year. Maize flowers are known as Minjar. Minjar fair is celebrated with the sprouting of Minjar in maize. The fair begins with the offering of Minjar made by Mirza family of Chamba to Lord Raghuveer. The fair ends with offering Minjar in the Ravi river. Minjar is prepared by the Mirza family by threading silk, tilla, dori and pearls for the fair. Recently, the Idukki district administration has allowed tourists to visit the Idukki dam on the occasion of the Onam festival. Earlier, the administration had temporarily banned all tourism activities in the district due to rain. Idukki Dam is located in Kerala. The height of this dam, built on the Periyar River, is 168.91 meters. It is one of the tallest arch dams in Asia. This dam is built between Kuravan and Kurathi hills. Electricity generation commenced on this dam from 4th October 1975. Significantly, Onam is the biggest festival of Kerala. It is celebrated during Chingam, the first month of the Malayali calendar. Chingam month falls between August-September months of the English calendar. This festival is celebrated to mark the homecoming of King Mahabali. This 10-day-long festival reflects the culture and tradition of Kerala. Intricately decorated Pokalam, Ambrosial Onasadya, Kathakali, Kaikotikali dance, traditional food and games, decorated elephants and snake boat race are the most important features of Onam. Recently, a London-based company, DeepMind, announced that it has predicted 3D or three-dimensional structures of more than 200 million proteins. The company has achieved this by using the AlphaFold program. DeepMind has released these structures in collaboration with EMBL-EBI, European Bioinformatics Institute. It includes approximate structure for plants, bacteria, animal and other organisms. The AlphaFold is a tool to predict the protein structure based on artificial intelligence. It is based on the computer system called Deep Neural Network. This network predicts various protein structures quite accurately. According to EMBL-EBI, about 35% of the recently released 3D structures of protein are most accurate. It means that they are very similar to the experimentally predicted structures. Another 45% 3D structures are considered adequate and accurate for several other applications. Scientists traditionally use more time-consuming and expensive experimental methods such as X-ray, crystallography, and cryo-electron microscopy to predict protein structures. However, these 3D structures released by DeepMind will make the work of scientists or researchers easier. DeepMind has developed AlphaFold in 2018 and released it publicly in July 2021. Actually, proteins are highly complex substances. They are formed by the combination of amino acids. Proteins are directly involved in the chemical processes necessary for life. They are also essential substances for the structure and regulation of the tissues and organs of the human body or organism. Amid the spread of monkeypox disease in humans, cases of lumpy skin disease in animals have been reported. Lumpy skin disease is not a new disease, but at present, this disease is wreaking havoc in Rajasthan. The districts of Western Rajasthan are most affected by the disease. According to the Rajasthan Animal Husbandry Department, more than 1,200 cows have died due to this disease in Rajasthan, while number of infected cattle in Rajasthan has crossed 25,000. The first case of lumpy skin disease was reported in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan in April 2022, but in a few weeks it has engulfed many western states of India, including Rajasthan. According to experts, this disease might have spread from Pakistan. The cattle living in cowsheds are the most affected by the disease, while only a few cases of buffaloes being infected by this disease have been reported. Lumpy skin disease is a disease caused by a virus of the Paxviridae family. It is a vector-borne disease which is caused by the bites of flies, mosquitoes, lice. It is an infectious disease that spread through contact of one animal with another animal. However, the virus does not infect humans. The symptoms of lumpy skin disease in animals are high body temperature and lack of hunger. Furthermore, lumps are formed all over the infected animal's body, including its mouth, nose, and neck. The animals infected with this disease produce less milk. There are reports of miscarriage, prolonged infertility, and physical weakness in animals infected with this disease. When this virus enters the body, the immune system of animal is affected, and in some cases, the cattle may also die. Recently, a research paper was published by the Institute of Royal Society. Shocking figures relating to rain-induced volcanic activities have been presented in this paper. This paper has been jointly published by Jamie Farquharson, a research engineer in Strasbourg University, France, and his colleague. According to this paper, melting of glaciers and heavy rainfall may increase the frequency of volcanic eruptions. Moreover, such an explosion is likely to be quite hazardous. Significantly, scientists have investigated rainfall activities and their effects on 1,234 volcanoes that have occurred in about 12,000 years to confirm these facts. In this investigation, scientists have found serious evidence related to the effects of rainfall on about 170 volcanoes globally. These incidents were attributed to the deaths due to volcanic eruptions in Papua New Guinea, Ecuador, and Indonesia. The report also warned that if measures to control global warming are not adopted, then more than 700 volcanoes worldwide could be seriously affected due to rain. Scientists believe that due to heavy rainfall, the slope structure of mountains or rocks weaken, and consequently, rainwater goes into the inner layers of the earth and causes cracks in the rocks. The magma comes to the surface through these cracks. Thus, volcanic eruptions occur due to rapid ejection of magma. Furthermore, due to the accumulation of ice on the Earth's upper crust, the magma inside the Earth remains trapped. But as the ice melts, the Earth's surface rises due to the decrease in pressure. As a result, the exit of magma becomes easier and these volcanic eruptions occur. Let us now look at the 5 questions based on the bulletin.
Questions for this series are: first question is, consider the following statements. 1. The Portuguese Civil Code of 1867 is applicable in Goa. 2. Uniform Civil Code is mentioned in Article 44 of the Constitution of India. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2. Next question is, which of the following statement or statements is or are correct? 1. Political parties registered under Section 29A of the Representation of the People Act 1951 are authorized to receive electoral bonds. 2. Electoral bonds can be purchased from all branches of the State Bank of India. 3. Electoral bonds are available for purchase for 10 days at the beginning of each quarter. Codes are 2 and 3 only, 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. Next question is, consider the following statements. 1. Indian International Bullion Exchange has been established in Gift City, Gujarat. 2. Gold also has the status of the legal tender of RBI. Which of the above statement or statements is or are not correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2. Next question is, consider the following statements with reference to Idukki Dam. 1. Idukki Dam is located in Kerala. 2. It is situated between Kurvan and Kurathi Hills. 3. Idukki Dam is also part of a hydroelectric project. Codes are 2 and 3 only, 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. Last question is, consider the following statements with reference to the Minjar Fair. 1. Minjar Fair has the status of an international fair. 2. Minjar Fair is related to the Chaughon Plains of Chamba Valley, Himachal Pradesh. 3. The fair begins on the second Sunday of the month of Sawan. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 2 and 3 only, 3 only, 1 only, or all of the above? Recently, the Madras High Court ordered the Tamil Nadu Archaeological Department to take control of a Hindu temple. Earlier, this temple was managed by Tamil Nadu Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment. Earlier, it was declared as a Hindu temple based on the wrong identification of the idol located in this temple. The idol located in this temple has now been identified as Lord Buddha, who was earlier being worshipped as the Hindu deity Thalaiveti Muniyappan. This temple is located in the Salem district of Tamil Nadu. Recently, the navies of India and France conducted a 2-day joint naval exercise in the North Atlantic Ocean. The exercises carried out included man overboard drill, visit board search and seizure operation, replenishment approach at sea, tactical maneuvers and helicopter cross-deck landing. The Indian naval ship Tarkash, a guided missile warship, also participated in this naval exercise. Recently, the government of Assam announced an additional 18 rupees for August 2022 to the beneficiaries of the Arunodoi scheme. According to the government, these additional rupees are being given to the beneficiaries to purchase the national flag. Arunodoi scheme was launched by the Assam government in October 2020. Under this scheme, a monetary benefit of 1000 rupees is transferred every month to the bank accounts of economically weak women. However, initially 830 rupees per month was transferred under this scheme. Recently, the 4th edition of the joint military exercise Al-Najaha between India and Oman commenced. It is being organized in Rajasthan and it will last for about 13 days. This military exercise focuses on counter-terrorism operations. Significantly, the previous edition of this exercise was conducted in March 2019 in Muscat. Recently, it has been found that the Earth is rotating faster than its normal speed. Scientists have recorded a reduction of 1.50 milliseconds in the total time taken by the Earth to complete one rotation. However, until a few years ago, scientists believed that the Earth's rotation was slowing down. But over the years, atomic clocks have shown that the Earth's rotation is accelerating. Moreover, in 2020, scientists had recorded 28 shortest days since 1960. Recently, the 3rd edition of the India-Vietnam bilateral military exercise X-Winbex commenced. The theme of this exercise is the deployment of an engineering company and a medical team as part of the UN team for peaceful defense operations. This exercise is a sequel to the bilateral exercise conducted in Vietnam in 2019. This bilateral exercise will strengthen trust and interoperability. It will also aid in sharing best practices between the Indian Army and the Vietnam People's Army. Recently, Rajya Sabha passed the National Anti-Doping Bill. Earlier, this bill was passed by the Lok Sabha. This bill aims to accord the National Anti-Doping Agency the status of a statutory authority. According to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, India can currently conduct 6,000 tests a year, and the proposed bill will aid in increasing the country's testing capacity. After the enactment of this bill, India will join a club of select countries like the US, China, Japan and France, which have laws for conducting dope tests in sports. Recently, the Maharashtra cabinet approved a development plan worth 369.78 crore rupees for Lonar Lake. This lake is located in the Bulldhana district and it is a notified National Geographical Heritage Monument. It is the only crater lake in the world formed by a meteorite impact. It was in news over the past few years as the lake's water used to turn pink. This lake consists of both saline and alkaline water. Recently, India and Thailand celebrated the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations. Hence, several programs and activities were planned this year to reflect the multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. Significantly, the relations between India and Thailand extend to regional and multilateral levels including Mekong-Ganga cooperation, BIMSTEC and ASEAN-India. Uday Umesh Lalit will be sworn in as the new Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. The current Chief Justice N.V. Ramanna is retiring from the service on 26 August 2022. Thereafter, Justice U.U. Lalit will take over as the 49th Chief Justice of India and he will serve in this position till 8th November 2022.